If you're sitting in a kitchen right now, staring at an empty chair across the table, wondering why nobody's sitting in it, you need to hear what I'm about to say. I am 88 years old, and for the last 12 years, I have been carrying a fire that was never mine to carry. I spent my late 70s and most of my 80s just stoking the flames, feeding the worry, burning myself alive trying to keep everybody else warm. I was the furnace for a family that had already built their own houses, and it damn near turned me to ash. Think about this. If you lit a candle on your kitchen table and the wind blew through the window and snuffed it out, would you stand there screaming at the breeze? Would you curse the air for moving the way air has always moved? No, you wouldn't, because you know you can't control the wind. You close the window. You light the candle again somewhere safer. You adjust. But with our grown children, we don't do that. We stand there cupping that flame with both hands, burning our own palms raw, begging the wind to stop blowing. And every time that flame goes out, we act like the whole world just ended. I survived the loneliness of an empty table, but it wasn't because my daughter finally started showing up for Sunday dinner. It was because I stopped setting her a plate. And if you don't learn the same lesson, you are going to spend your remaining years with blistered hands and a cold heart, trying to keep a fire alive that was never yours to tend. Here's what an old man learned the hard way. Your children are the wind. When they were small, you were the fireplace. You kept them warm. You kept the cold out. You decided when the lights went on and when they went off. You were the whole damn house. But then they grew up. They turned 35. They turned 45. And something happened that we just cannot bring ourselves to swallow. They built their own fireplace. Their marriages, their debts, the way they talk to their own kids, the jobs they keep quitting, the holidays they keep skipping. That is their own fire to manage. It ain't yours. But we don't accept that. We think if I just show up one more time uninvited, if I just mention how I never missed a single one of their school plays, if I just remind her that I worked double shifts at the factory so she could have braces. When you do that, you are trying to warm a grown woman who has already chosen to stand in the cold. And every time you reach out and get silence back, it feels like someone poured ice water straight down your spine because you are expecting warmth from someone who is standing in their own winter. Stop pretending it isn't happening. Read the temperature. If they are cold, if they are elsewhere, that's just the wind right now. You cannot redirect the air. Here is a truth that will sit in your stomach like a stone. My hovering was the very thing fanning the flames between us. Think about it from where they're standing. Every time my daughter walked into my house, I looked at her like she was late. I looked at her like every visit was a payment on a debt she could never pay off. I made my warmth her responsibility. Nobody wants to walk into a house that feels like a furnace they can't escape. Every phone call was just me taking her temperature. Every visit was an inspection. That ain't love. That is a toll booth. When you hover, you are sucking all the oxygen out of the room. You are demanding that they be your heat source. That is an unbearable weight to strap onto another person's back. When you finally open your hands and say, "All right, let it burn," You lift 100 pounds off their shoulders. You give them air. Maybe they'll come sit by your fire. Maybe they won't. But you cannot force a flame by smothering it with your hands. You just snuff it out completely. The day I finally let go, the day I stopped counting the weeks between her calls, the day I quit keeping score of who visited and who didn't, I was scared to death. I thought if I don't keep this family lit with my own 2 hands, the whole thing is going to go dark forever. But you know what happened? I survived. The quiet in my kitchen stopped sounding like abandonment. It started sounding like stillness. I realized that for the first time in 55 years, the warmth I felt was coming from inside me, not from somebody else's attention. I don't lose sleep over my son's gambling anymore. Let it burn. I don't twist myself into knots over my daughter's husband, who I never liked. Let it burn. I don't sit by the window on Christmas Eve counting headlights in the driveway. Let it burn. Letting go ain't the same as giving up on your kids. I love them. Lord knows I love them. I think about them when I wake up and when I close my eyes. I hold them in my prayers every single night. But I gave up on the fantasy that I could be their furnace forever. I just love them now, quietly, freely, without keeping a tab, even from across town, even from across the silence. You are in the December of your life. The days are getting shorter. The sun sets earlier than it used to. We are all walking toward the same door, and none of us know when it's going to open. That is the one certainty we carry. And you do not have enough firewood left to spend your final winters trying to heat a house that isn't yours anymore. Do you want to be remembered as a tired, resentful old man who spent his last good years on his knees blowing on embers that wouldn't catch? Close your hands. Stop reaching into the fire. Just stop. Let the flames go where they're going to go. Find your own warmth. Sit in your chair. Watch the morning light come through the window. Pour your coffee. Open your book. Let it burn where it's going to burn. Let it burn.